Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Herbert,
Here.
Mr. McDowell, Mr. Bailey.
Here.
Thank you.
Mr. McDowell has a conflict, so he will not be here today. We have a short agenda, but before we get to the agenda, anybody propose changes to the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second, all right. And we have one item that has been trying to get its way to the agenda for some time. And we wanted to make sure it was on this agenda this year. And so I'm excited about this project, excited to learn more about it. I have written a letter in support of the project along as Councilman McDowell, but at this time I'll ask Ms. Frick or whoever y'all deem appropriate to give maybe some more information about the Persimmon Peace Bowl project.
As Ms.
Go to the podium.
As she comes forward, I'll note for the record that Mr. Brennan submitted a letter of support today as well.
Great, we have more than enough now.
Thanks. I'm Elaine Frick, and I appreciate being able to present this finally to the committee for your approval to move on. We have with us two members of the committee, and one could not be here because of transportation. Another is coming a little late because of a meeting at her work. So Bethany Storlazzi and the artist Olga Yukno are both here with us today. I understand you all have the packet of the application for placement. I don't know how much you would like me to share with you about Peace Bowl plan.
Well, let me help you with that. Councilwoman Herbert, have you had an opportunity to, I guess, read all the materials? I know you did, but maybe just an overview of the Peace Bowl project, where this
Okay.
one's gonna go, and, you know, why y'all excited about it.
Okay.
For the record,
And I will say too, just think about that other people are watching that may not be privy to the
I see.
information that we have.
That's true. So the Columbia Peace Poll Initiative is a committee that decided that there needed to be more peace polls in the Columbia area. And we've identified about 30 in about 10 or 11 locations. And peace polls say in many languages, 4 to 8 languages, a peace prevail on earth, came out of the Japanese concern for the bombing of Hiroshima and and Nagasaki, and the desire that nuclear weapons would never be. So there are now about 250,000 peace poles around the world, planted in many countries with many different languages. The first public in Columbia was dedicated on city property in the median, large median area on the 900 block of Senate Street. And it was designed by local artist Eileen Blythe and dedicated there with the mayor and some city council members there. And even since then, there's been recently, I think it was in September, a peace event that was held there. They were praying for, in particular, the folks in Gaza and in the Middle East. And so it's a symbol that we can use. I think the peace polls we see as a symbol that say that the city of Columbia is for making, standing up for peaceful resolutions to any conflicts, for standing up with many different languages. The peace poll, I'll just briefly say then, the peace poll in the committee that designed the peace poll in, that's in the Vista Peace Poll, has 8 different languages, and we chose them very carefully for that time, and they were at that point, and it was Japanese and English, which are often on a peace poll, and then Spanish and Gullah and Catawba and Arabic and Hebrew and Hindi. So we wanted them to represent peoples and places that represented Colombia. This next persimmon peace poll, we began the inspiration because one of our committee members was able to get seeds of trees that survived the bombing in the ground level at Hiroshima. So many days after Hiroshima was destroyed to ashes, trees started sprouting up again. And so an organization in Japan created a Green Legacy Hiroshima, and they have identified different trees within the ground zero of Hiroshima that have survived. They provide seeds from those trees. One of our members asked for some seeds, and we received persimmon seeds and ginkgo seeds. Once they were growing, we realized somebody ought to take care of them better than us. So the botanical gardens at Riverbanks have been taking care of them, or took care of them. The ginkgo is slow growing and still there, waiting to be planted. The persimmon tree, finally, they said, okay, here it is, it's ready to be planted. Well, the city parks graciously put it in, so the persimmon tree, that is a second generation of this mother tree in Hiroshima, is now at the corner of Taylor and Park Street in a section of the Greenway, Vista Greenway. And it's there, and we realized that we had a local artist, Olga Yukno, got inspired to create a peace pole that related to and would be planted with the planting of this persimmon peace pole. So the tree is there. I go by and check on it. I've got some pictures because I make sure the city parks is taking very good care of it. And so we are waiting now to have a dedication or a approval to have a persimmon peace pole planted with this persimmon pole. It will be an installation. Olga you may have questions for our artist. It will be an installation piece. Olga has designed it to be the peace pole, which is the descriptions are here, but it's in handmade ceramic pieces, and it will be with the persimmon tree, and with stepping stones and a bench, and then an interpretive sign to help. We intentionally hope that it will be in a place with parking and a place where it will be family friendly for people to have gatherings or people to read the sign and understand what the message is of this very particular peace pole. Any questions? Or questions of Olga?
Councilwoman Herbert, any questions?
I don't have any.
Are there any peace poles in District 1 or in North Columbia?
No. Is the Vista area in District 1?
No, think crossing over Main Street to go crossing over Elmwood.
Elmwood.
Okay. No, there is one at the Richland District 1 offices there in downtown, a beautiful one that was there before we even began this project. There's one in Chapin or Irmo area. There's many at four at Brockman Elementary. There are some in downtown churches, Shandon Presbyterian, at the Columbia Friends meeting. Trying to think of some other locations where they are, but none in District 1. The location that when Olga first was looking for an ideal location for this project, she suggested that the Saluda Riverwalk would be ideal. And since that time, several people have met with Karen Kustovic, who is a park ranger there, and looked at a possible location there. But that's our suggestion. And there may be others that may be just as good.
Yeah, my question was that, wondering about future projects.
Oh,
The initiative of the purpose of the peace polls and
sure.
conflict resolution should end peacefully. I think it could be appropriate to have one in District One
Throughout the
Yes.
city.
throughout the city.
Yes, our goal would be to have peace polls. You can buy them from two different organizations or companies in New York State and I think in Michigan that make peace polls. The one that we have at the Friends meeting and the one at Whaley Street Methodist Church. They're wood. You can choose 4 to 8 languages, and they cost $300, $400. And our goal might be to have a peace poll at every city police district office, and have them in a lot of community centers, and have them in public parks to help create that sense of peace prevailing in the city. Yes.
Councilman Herbert?
And I guess just to follow up on that question, what has been the method for determining the location? Does it have something to do with the artist's preference, which sounds like with this one, or are people or organizations or churches saying, please bring one here? How have those decisions been made to date?
It varied with a Vista Peace poll that's down on Senate Street in the median. A former council member learned about this committee came out of a Hiroshima Remembrance Committee that has an event to remember Hiroshima every year on August 6th, the date of the bombing. And a former council member was there, and he learned about peace polls, and he said, well, there's a median on Senate Street that we're putting a number of art pieces. And that ended up being a very, as it turned out, easy process for us at that time. It was a place the city already wanted some artwork, some public art. Others were, sometimes it's Brennan Elementary is a Montessori school that has a peace day every year and uses peace in its curriculum. And so they have, I think it's 3 or 4 peace polls in the different playgrounds within the school for the different ages children. Churches, there's one church that had Shandon Presbyterian decided to plant one in memory of one of their members. I'm not sure who asked the Richland District 1 site to have a peace poll, but it was paid for by the Montessori office within Richland 1. And it has the languages of, it's like a large number of languages, and they are all the languages that are spoken by students within Richland 1. And they're each identified at the bottom. It's a beautiful, beautiful stained glass peace poll.
Thank you.
Well, I don't have any other questions, but we're happy to hear from the artist who I know is present, if she would like to speak about the project.
Good afternoon. My name is Olga Yukhno, and I'm really excited to be here. So thank you for your time. I wanted to very quickly add something to Ms. Elaine's point about the location. The reason why I'm particularly excited about this location is because I had 2 principles that were very important for me personally when it comes to artwork. Is its accessibility and inclusivity. And I really felt that that location was a really, really good representation of that, because it's the river walk was very well designed to be very accessible, because this is not my first public art piece, and I believe that art belongs in all the places where people actually live their lives, and it's really important to encounter art and public art on your daily basis, in front of your grocery store, in front of your library, in your park. So that's why I was very excited about it, because this is one of my favorite places to go with my family. So I see a lot of families and children, people from all walks of lives, and I think this is just a really great place. And also, again, people come from different ethnic backgrounds, from just all over the place. And that was important for me, that it will not be exclusive, that it will be as inviting and inclusive as it possibly can be. As far as the message of the Peace Poll, that is very important personal to me as well, because I believe that in our day and age in particular, the message of peace should be in the background of a lot of decision making, and also a lot of education that we have on informal and formal levels, because if we don't keep that in mind, we will find ourselves in a lot of conflict situations that we sometimes find ourselves in right now. And I think if we speak more about peace and position it as one of our crucial values, our world will be a better place for that. And when important messages like this come together with powerful visual image, that can really strike a chord. And I would like to hope that the piece will speak for itself and attract people and send that message.
I do have one other question. Maintenance, is this a low maintenance kind of project, or what do you anticipate?
Excellent question. I believe that it is a low maintenance project, because all the materials that will be used for this project are weather resistant, and there is a lot of history in the industry of using these particular materials. I have also taken a lot of workshops and classes with people specifically specializing in this particular technique. So all the pieces, they're ceramic sculpted pieces, are fired to temperatures that make them weather resistant, not only to our heat that we experience in our summers, but also on occasions if we have freezes, if we have any kind of weather events as well. Also, it doesn't require a lot of regular maintenance as well. And because of the materials used, such as, again, glazed ceramic, it also doesn't fade away. So it literally can stay in its shape without deteriorating for, well, hopefully, at least dozens of years, maybe hundreds, because we have examples of pieces in Europe that are decorated with tile that have been there for a very, very long time.
Thank you.
Mr. Simon?
Quick question for you. The piece as is displayed here, does it come prefabricated, or how's that process?
Oh, no, it does not come prefabricated at all. Every piece of it is handmade and hand created. So there is a core that is the base for decorating all the pieces. And if I may speak, it will make more sense. So all the decorative pieces, you can see the roots of the trees. There are two tree trunks mirroring each other. And all the elements for that will be hand sculpted, either ceramic tiles or concrete tiles that will be handmade and then applied as a mosaic would be. So it is ultimately a mosaic piece, and every single element is unique and hand created. So there's actually nothing that's mass produced there.
So a question I have then, when there was, Ms. Frick, when you were making the comment about $300 to $400 for a peace poll, that's not, okay. And so I agree, I think the location y'all have is a great location for it. I do just think in the future, I would like to see more public art expanding in areas that historically do not have public art.
Me too.
So I think this is something for the arts community to think about. That's why I referenced in District 1. I'm pretty sure if we did a study of where public art is, District 1 would be highly behind the rest of the district. So I think I would love for the Peace Poll Initiative to think about some areas possibly in North Columbia that could be a good site for something in the future. Not the $300, $400 version. I mean, I want the real deal.
Absolutely.
I was thinking it 3 or 400.
And especially where children have access to it, in my personal opinion. As somebody who have worked with children for a long time, I'm a firm believer that it's very important for children to be able to experience art with a message in their day lives, and maybe even participate in its creation in one form or another. So I think it's extremely important.
Good idea. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your attention.
I think we have, do you like the project? I think we have consensus on.
Get some feedback.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Mr. Blake.
Yeah, I'll just add, I think this is a really good example of what public art can do. It's going to be a beautiful piece, but it also has a great message, so it's community building. But I do also agree with your point. Looking at where our public art is in the city is super important because of the accessibility part to it. It is public art. I spend a lot of time in public media, so I understand that access is really important. So I think that is something that we will look at One Columbia is where our public art is and how we can add more to places that haven't always had it. But again, I think this project is a perfect example of what public art means and can do.
Yes.
If I may, I have a question, mostly for personal curiosity. Ms. Frick, how big does a persimmon tree get? I mean, will the persimmon tree itself at some point be bigger and taller than the actual sculpture?
Yes, Olga and I can both, I'll see what, persimmon tree, this is a Japanese persimmon tree. There are American persimmon trees that you may have in a backyard or something too, but this particular one, I think unpruned, it's 30 to 40 feet high and 25 to 30 feet wide is what I've read. And, pardon? Yes. However, and then this pole is 7 feet tall?
About 7 feet.
About 7 feet tall. So we had made an original little diagram with the city parks folks out at Saluda Riverwalk of the pole and the tree and the bench and then the walkway and the interpretive sign and how that would be a trifecta, as you call it. And we would have to determine, kind of think with the city park folks exactly how that would. Olga, do you have a?
We already had that conversation with the city employees, and they have been extremely knowledgeable and helpful in that regard because there are some limitations on the size of the tree. So they advise that the location is appropriate for a persimmon tree. But also, going back to your question, it also depends on the care because it can be pruned and any tree can be kept whatever size you want, like ultimately, but also the idea, the vision, the ultimate vision is once the tree is happy and thriving, that it will provide a little bit of shade where people can sit on the bench and maybe take a second to think about the message or just, have a moment to just enjoy the art and get what they need from that space in that moment in time.
Thank you.
I'll also mention that the ginkgo tree, that is a second generation ginkgo tree that we got the seeds for and have planted. It's still at the Botanical Gardens. I have visions for it, not with necessarily a public art peace pole, but with a peace pole somewhere. I even think of the you'd be thinking too, where ginkgo trees are gorgeous. And in the fall, they have beautiful yellow foliage. And like at the park that it's at the back of the Bull Street development, it's not developed much yet, but it's a place. And we don't, or you can think of a place in District 1 or places that a large ginkgo tree and a $300 wonderful peace pole could go with it if it's not, or another public art peace pole. Why not? I will also mention that the Kaufman Road Elementary School, I think it's elementary, maybe middle, but when we heard that there were peace poles there, we went and took pictures, and it was a teacher. There are about 20 peace poles in that school, outside and in some indoor, in the front, and our teacher had as a project the students making peace poles, and they're not exactly ones. Peace pole can be of any type, and you can see online many different styles. And so the students had put words and designs that they wanted, and it was an amazing project. So that's another avenue of creating the idea for peace poles in the city.
I think I have a Christmas idea for my boys.
I'm writing it down, create a peace pole.
Conflict Resolving conflict.
Yes, resolving conflict.
Really good. They can go meditate on it.
Mayor Benjamin, when he was mayor, went to Hiroshima as part of the Council of Mayors or something, and met the mayor of Hiroshima, who has created Mayors for Peace. And his idea is that cities, to be healthy with their citizens, with food, with safety, with education, need to be sure there aren't any nuclear wars happening, and need to be sure that they understand what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And so we encouraged Mayor Benjamin to sign on, and he signed a number of years ago with our committee to Mayors for Peace pledge. So Columbia is officially part of Mayors for Peace, and we can kind of continue that beginning.
Thank you. Councilwoman Herbert, anything you want to add?
No, sir.
Do we have consensus?
We do.
Great. That will bring our meeting to adjournment.
All right, so the next step is to
Go to One Columbia. That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank y'all.
Okay.